Good evening. Today's topic being uh, the possibility to change the world. It has always been a moot question in our minds whether it is possible to change the world. আমাৰ এই পৃথিৱীখন যেনেকৈ চলি আছে সেই পৃথিৱী এই ভিন্ন ধৰণৰ ডিফিকাল্টিজ, ট্ৰাবলছ, টৰ্মেণ্টছ সেইবিলাকৰ মাজেৰে আগবাঢ়ি আছে। whether it is possible to change it, ভালৰ ফাললৈ চেঞ্জ কৰাটো সম্ভৱ হ'ব নে নহয়। So we are always told by people that it is an idle dream. It is an idle dream to change this world because all here is fixed in definite patterns of nature. Nature, as we know, is very fixed. Prakriti, it is fixed, and it is like the tail of a dog. The more you try to straighten up, the more it curves back to its original position. So that's the nature, and everything swings back to its earlier state, and the world moves on. Cycle of you see rise and fall. It's like a cycle. Korbat ketiba upolu uthile, korbat namile. So basically nothing seems to be changing at all in the whole world, and always this sort of suffering, this sort of calamities. If we are delighted for a few moments, the next few moments, and maybe intermittently, we fall into the state of chaos. And we always cry hoarse that it is not possible to change the world. But it is truly not, because we always forget that the world is not a stationary existence that is fixed forever. It is a dynamic aspect of the divine only. In fact, it is the becoming of the divine. If we take the whole creation, and even more than that, the unmanifested worlds also, it is a being out of which the whole creation has come up, and it is an unbecoming of the being. That means সেই সত্তা, সেই পৰম সত্তাৰ পৰাই, সেই তেওঁৰ পৰাই লাহে লাহে it is an act of unbecoming. নিজে নিজে খোল খাই, as if গোটেই পৃথিৱীখন খোল খাইছে, তাত ক্ৰিয়েশ্যন কেনেকৈ, তাত ৰুলছ এণ্ড ৰেগুলেশ্যনছ came into existence, as if everything has been slowly put into existence in a very certain way. But because of our short-sightedness, we do not see all these things happening. But basically, it is a movement of divine. Behind all this, even if it seems to be a chaos all over the world, with different sort of incidents or happenings taking place all the while, including war, including massacre, including all that is not supposed to take place in the whole world, it's still taking place. But it is an apparent state of affairs. Apparent. Because behind all this, there is an unseen hand which is working throughout. And it is a perpetual becoming of the being which is the spirit of the supreme divinity. So in this, there is a constant eruption of new elements, new forces from above as well as from below. From when we say from above, it is from the superconscious, from the divine being, and also from the lower rungs of consciousness, that is the inconscient, the most darkened state of things, which is again nothing but the somnambulist state of the divine itself, divine himself, the inconscient. So all these things, all these forces are at play, and in this myriad play, which are definitely creating clashes through us, through individual beings. So basically, it is nothing but something which is the divine is hewing out our ways through all this chaos, evolving itself through new things, new elements, new organizations, all the time working throughout and pushing the evolution forward. So, the mother says that the world is becoming, the world is being recreated every moment. In her one of her prayers, I have forgotten the exact date, but I still remember that she has said that the whole world is being recreated every moment. What does it mean? That recreated means every moment something new is emerging into the working of the forces, all the forces. And through it, whatever elements are not required in the becoming of this divine are going away. The divine himself is shedding itself, all these elements, and creating anew those elements which will be required, which are required or which will be required in the future. So in this way, we know very well that this whole world movement is not a mechanical accident or movement. It is a movement which is being led by the divine will, which keeps the things moving forward always. Whatever seems to be apparently not right, not just, should not have happened, all these elements are in the process of going out. But apparently it doesn't seem to be so. And this will doesn't merely act in a general way, you see, because it functions to the different individuals, you and me and all who are living. And each one of us has a separate set of elements working in us to go through, forge through, from whatever state of affairs we are, whatever ignorance we are still in, whatever is not right in our whole being, all these things we are slowly shedding in the process. So it is not a mechanical accident. And a constant interaction between all these forces from both, as I said, that from the superconscious realms and also from the inconscient. So all these forces are at work in us, working through us, and in the process there's a constant interaction between this cosmos and individual wills all the time. And in this whole scenario, this shuffling and reshuffling, remolding of our being, which is going on throughout all the time, birth after birth, the aim of the divine is not getting frustrated, and it is always moving forward only. And slowly and slowly, we are opening out from our outer being, outer consciousness, to the inner or the higher consciousness, which is constantly at work. And to that extent, we are open to the divine force which is working all the time. And also, basically depending on our will, our aspiration for a change in the world, it will be working rightly in us. And that, what does that indicate to? That the onus is on us, the responsibility is on us to go through that process. And the process starts very interestingly with ourselves. The first person is I. If we wish to change the world, if I wish to change the world, then first I'll have to start with me only. In all our consciousness, whatever psychological changes have to occur in me in different levels of my consciousness, mental consciousness, vital consciousness, physical consciousness, even we can start with small things, because the mother has very rightly said that you can win the big victories with the little ones only. Win your little victories. A small thing, if I can achieve in myself, it can echo out or reverberate or ripple out to others also. And whoever in that case is receptive enough will be receiving it. Because it will have a perpetual, continuous exchange of vibration. It will ripple out to others, and whoever is open and receptive, it will receive and manifest it. And it is precisely what is happening in this whole world, more so when Sri Aurobindo and the mother embodied themselves, means came in physical bodies. The moment they started that transformation aspect of the physical also, the moment it started, it slowly created ripples all over the world without even knowing that such a change may occur, such a drastic and unimaginable state may come in. But that has already started in 1956, when the supramental manifested in the earth atmosphere, and through them it has become much more easy for the vibration to percolate all over the world. Otherwise, you and me wouldn't have been able to come closer to this absolute truth which is slowly manifesting in us. Or nobody would have, dared to think even the vision of Sri Aurobindo about transforming the outer nature. So the answer is absolutely yes. Yes, this world can be changed. It is not only possible to change the world, but it is certain and inevitable also in the course of things. But for that to happen, what we'll have to do, we'll have to start from ourselves. Slowly and slowly, lahe lahe, আমাৰ মাজত সৰু সৰু যিবিলাক কৰিবলগীয়া কাম, small things. We can start with small things. And on top of it, what is most important for us is, surely I believe most of you will be uh, agreeing with me in this, that even if it's a very tiny one, whatever it is, if we invoke the mother, if we truly invoke her, call her, force down to act on her, that means opening ourselves that you do it, then she can do it. Not through our own capacity, which is well nigh impossible in most of the cases, but rather, on the other hand, when we call her down, we pray her that, man, this is the thing which has not been happening, or this is what I have not been able to do, you do it in me. And she invariably does. It's a matter of time only before all our own, and in fact own environment, own resistances, inner resistances, and also the outer ones around us, all these crumbles down, and she paves us the way to go ahead, forge ahead. And this is how the work of the works, as Sri Aurobindo says in Life Divine, the work of the works is progressing. And in fact, even if we do not know, it is progressing in such a meticulous and rapid way, and along with it, the affairs of the world also, these also cannot, leave behind. So somehow or other, they are also getting involved, entangled in the whole affair. And in the process, they are also getting evolved. Because unless one is involved, one cannot be evolved also. So we'll have to remember one thing. If we have to evolve, if we have to go for perfection in whatever field we are, whether it is our daily course, it is our daily affairs called life, or even that which still lingers within us, which is the essence of everything, that is the spirit, the spiritual endeavor. In fact, that also we'll have to be sincere in our effort, starting from ourselves, and slowly let her do her work unhindered in us. And that definitely will be taking us places. In fact, the whole movement, all these small movements even form a part of the big movement which is being undertaken by the divine long time back, and it is going on slowly and slowly. And it is for us only to be a little bit sincere in our effort, we need a little bit of perseverance also to go through to the end. Then what happens? We see the fruits. And of course, we should not look for fruits, but eventually it comes out. It shows itself. In fact, maybe most of the people living in this world, for them, it seemed to be an utter impossibility for changing the world. It's a chaos. And all sings the doomsday song. But for us, who have felt even a little bit of Mother's love, Aurobindo's love, and on our way towards them can vouch for it, that it is a certainty, it is beyond doubt. And even if people talk about all these negative things, do not believe that something good will happen, in spite of all these, it will surely achieve its own goal because it is divine. A beautiful, all of you know, Aurobindo has written so beautifully in Savitri, passages after passages, a small few lines. A few shall see what none yet understands. Only a few shall see what others do not understand. God shall grow up while the wise men talk and sleep. There are so many intellectuals, so many knowledgeable people around in the whole world. People revere them. People, for any kind of problems, they count on them. But eventually, they cannot give a permanent solution. So they can talk big, but eventually they cannot fetch any result. God shall grow up while the wise men talk and sleep. যেতিয়া মানুহে তেনেকুৱা ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰ মানুহ so called knowledgeable persons তেওঁলোকে শুই বহি কটাব কথা পাতি during that time itself God will slowly grow up in human being, and the process is already taking place, is going on. That God is slowly being built up in the clay matter. Ours is a clay matter, isn't it? Because we are full of ignorance, falsehood and all. We have not been able to shed all these things as yet. But when slowly and slowly we give the consent to the divine to work it in us, then it can take place. Slowly we will be relieved from all those baggages we have been carrying since so many births, immemorial births. জন্মৰ পিছত জন্ম আমি যিবিলাক বুজা কঢ়িয়াই আনিছোঁ, all those ignorance in our mind, in our vital, even in the physical, which is a dense matter. That is why it's called clay. Bukare luturi puturi hoi thoka, our whole being. But this has to be cleansed also. And because we are sons of God, it is our birthright. Sri Aurobindo says that. For man shall not know the coming till it's মানুহে তেতিয়ালৈকে নাজানিব যেতিয়ালৈকে কামটো কৰা হয়, সেই মুহূৰ্ত যেতিয়ালৈকে নাহে তেতিয়ালৈকে মানুহে নাজানিব. এণ্ড বিলিভ শ্বেল বি নট টিল দ্য ৱৰ্ক ইজ ডান. আৰু বিশ্বাসো তেতিয়ালৈকে নহ'ব যেতিয়ালৈকে সেই কামটো সম্পূৰ্ণৰূপে কৰা হৈছে. But a day will come which is inevitable in the calendar of events. It might take 250 years, 300, doesn't matter, maybe more, but it is inevitable. And the most unbelieving mother says so in 1956 in her message, that the most unbelieving also will be compelled to say that yes, it is true, and the advent of the divine in human being is sure. So it might seem to be a distant dream, which we believe that it will not be fulfilled for people. But it is not true. Normally we are very skeptic in our nature. We are full of doubts. Somewhere Aurobindo has said that even if I write on the subject of doubt 600 pages even, our doubts will still remain in our being. That is suggestive of what matter we are built up of. But all these have to go because it is intended. And in between the journey, intermediate journey, which has taken a toll on us, on the whole of humanity, the seed is always there, and that seed is the psychic being in each one of us. And if only we'll let it come to the front and take the whole responsibility of our life, of mind, of all that vital stand for, all our emotions, all our desires, all that stuff which are not recurred in us, as of late we have started to know. Of late in the sense that even if it is 20 or 25 years, at least we have come to know about it, that yes, it is true, that all these are junks only which we have been carrying birth after birth. But there is a way when we let the psyche come to the front and take responsibility of our whole being, including the mind, the vital, and the physical also, then slowly things keep changing. At least that's what we have seen, probably all of us. But on our part, what is required is to push a little bit forward, not with our capacity, with our force, but with the force of the Divine Mother. Because she being there, she can do marvels. In fact, every moment is a marvel, although we do not know it. But when we invoke her, when we tell her what is it, what is the problem, or what is the thing that is troubling us, whether it is something psychological, whether something physical, or otherwise even, everything can be taken care of by her, and she does do things invariably. And that is what we should remember always, that we have the Divine Mother with us. Who else can be so close to our bosom but the Divine Mother? And that is why she has put that small portion, Angushta Matra, this much of thing which is called the soul. And around that soul, over birds, different birds, out of all those experiences of different lives, small amounts of divinity is acquired and preserved around the soul, which becomes slowly over the years the psychic. And when blooming of that psychic is full, which we do not know when it can take place finally, then it becomes totally different from what we have heard or what we have read. But we can see meanwhile, and there's a foretaste of it. We all know about it. When slowly, gradually, she makes us taste things which we believed not to be there even. That things can change in such a way. Miracles can happen. Whenever we are in some kind of a trouble or difficulty, the moment we invoke her, the moment we seek her support, the moment we express our helplessness, immediately she comes. Not with her physicality, but with her working. Even that could have been possible. The physicality also we could have seen with her physical eyes, only if we could have gone beyond the physical and our subtle eyes would have opened. But for that to happen, we'll have to go a little more. Of course, that little more may be so many years in terms of time, but even then, that is sure to happen. So that's it for us now. What to do is to, in our daily life, we should invoke the Mother in whatever we do. Whether it's a very trivial work or it's a very big job, big project, it doesn't matter. And more than that, the psychological sufferings which we always fail to understand why this happens, why that happens. If only we start invoking her and keep her telling that I do not know what it is, let me know it, or what should I do about it, why it is happening, what I should do. She takes care of everything and makes us understand what to do, how to do, where to seek the help. Everything is there. Even if someone is not prepared in such a way to know or understand the indication she is giving, even there are other provisions through which she makes us understand. Let's see, you had been thinking that you were right. Now see, this is the thing. Now you will have to change yourself. You will have to slightly shift your position so that whatever was troubling you will go away from your nature. Those are the psychological aspects. In everything, she can intervene, and she does intervene. So finally we come to the conclusion, at least, that it is not a vain idea of changing the world, because the change is not being initiated by us. In fact, the change is ordained. The change has been proclaimed rather by the Divine Himself, and through His different ways is laying down the paths before us to tread, shunning the paths that lead us to perdition, to trouble, to difficulty. So with this, we come to the conclusion of this session. If you have any